Good evening to each and everyone gathered here for today's webinar. In this monthly episode of Equity Outlook, our Chief Investment Officer, Mr. Sunil Damania, would be providing us his opinion on the market going forward. After a quick recap of the market's performance in the previous month, he would also be providing us a strategy we should adopt going forward in this volatile market. Towards the end, he would also be answering some of our questions in the Q&A section. Over to you, Mr. Sunil.
Thanks a lot, Jason, and very warm welcome all of you. Very good afternoon, very good evening, sorry. Those who are from Saudi, maybe, or from Middle East, good afternoon to them. I think what has come as a big surprise to me for the month of August, that August was the best month in terms of gain in the Sensex. But that best somehow is not reflecting the investor's portfolio. And that's a complete, it's like an anticlimax kind of a stuff. Why? Because if you see the market going up and Sensex went up more than 9%, but not any investor have seen their portfolio going up by 9%. Even that applies to AMCs also, mutual fund schemes also. And on the contrary, many of you would have also seen some kind of a erosion in the portfolio value. Why is that so? And that I'm going to explain you why, what happened in the month of August, despite the best month of 2021. In fact, I have not seen many times the Sensex in 1 month going up by 9%. That means large cap index going by 9%. And yet, that buoyancy does not reflect in the portfolio values of the investors. That's what I'm going to explain you. And then, of course, as Jason rightly said, I'll explain you how do I see the month of September. Of course, equity market is not on a month-to-month basis, but this is just for the education purpose. I'm going to explain that. So before I begin my webinar, just a small disclaimer, this webinar is only from education purpose. So when you invest in the equity market, it does carry a little higher amount of risk. And past performance are no indicator of a future performance. With this, let me begin my webinar. Okay, so what happened? The highlights of August. There has been a heavy profit booking in mid and small. It was result season, many places, because result season got over by 15th August, isn't it? In many companies, mid and small cap results were below market expectation. Market did not like it. Market did not like it. And due to that, there was a heavy selling pressure on the mid and small cap. Second thing, that BSU circular coming in, it did create some amount of confusion. Even though the BSU circular was very clear cut, it says that this circular will only applicable to the companies which are exclusively listed on BSE. But somehow, market did not, for known or unknown reason, it did not read that word exclusively listed on BSE. And that created some kind of a panic. And of course, when BSE clarified and gave a list of companies where it would be applicable, to some extent, there was again confidence coming back. But overall, it was not a great one for the mid and small cap. And I'll showcase you in my slide. I'm going to cover that, okay, how mid and small cap performed in August 2021. So that's one. After many months, IPO market started cooling off. Why? Because some of the leading companies like Nuvoco Cement or Cartrade.com and so on and so forth, they did started putting below the offer price. And that really impacted the sentiments. So mid and small cap not doing well. IPO market, well, before the IPO, the gray market premium was very rock solid. And once the company got listed below the offer price, it did impact the primary market sentiments also. And as we speak, 2 IPOs are open today. While one IPO got subscribed more than less than 2 times, one IPO is still not subscribed fully. Normally that doesn't happen. Normally we see from day one, IPO is getting oversubscribed more than 1 times. So that's what has happened in the month of August. IPO market, primary market sentiment was also soft. Taper tantrum. That was, everyone was waiting. And finally, Fed Chairman did give some clarity. He said that Jerome Powell did make a mention that it will happen in this calendar year. But did not give it how much idea that how much it would be unwinding. And market did not react negatively, despite that clarity coming in, which was otherwise everyone was expecting that market will go down, and that happens more to the large cap, not to the mid cap and small cap. Okay, but it did not spoil the sentiments. Okay, so that event is now over, more or less. I think market is convinced now that taper tantrum is not going to impact the market sentiment. I think that event and that clarity is coming now. So no expert now will come and say, oh, we have a risk of taper tantrum. Why? Because market understood that this event ho gaya hai, let's not discuss too much about it. And hence, market sentiments, positive or negative, is not going to happen because of taper tantrum as a news item. RBI monetary policy came in the first week of August, and we all know that RBI did revise. So they did not increase or decrease the repo and reverse repo rate, but it did give an indication. It maintained 9.5% GDP growth rate for FY22, so that's maintained. But in terms of inflation, it got revised upward to 5.7% as compared to 5.1%. So it is a cause of concern because everyone is talking. In fact, if you look at the Euro region, the inflation has gone very, very high. US is also struggling with the inflation. And in India, we have food inflation, we have the fuel and the input cost related inflation. And due to that, RBI has revised inflation to 5.7% as compared to 5.1%. Now, remember, what is the significance of this inflation? Two. One is that it can impact the margins of India because inflation do it into their, it increase your input cost. And second thing, we should forget about reduction in the rate of interest, because higher inflation doesn't warrant a fall in the rate of interest. Am I right? It will further increase the rate of interest can only move up. It cannot come down because the inflation trajectory is going to remain little high. And last but not the least, the geopolitical situation that happened in Afghanistan, no one expected that Taliban would be able to take over Afghanistan very quickly. And that happened. And it did surprise the overall, the world as a whole, but did not impact the market sentiments. So it was an event which was a negative event, but did not impact the market sentiments, not only in India, but globally. So these are the 5 highlights of what happened in the month of August. But first 2 highlights are of a very significant nature that really that define what happened in the August. So now let's look at what happened in the month of August. This is the Sensex daily movement. Okay, only on 5 days the Sensex game closed in negative. Negative in the sense from previous close level, only 5 days. One was on 6th August, then 11th August, 18th and 20th August, 2 days in a row, because 19th August was a close holiday because of Muharram. Only 2 days in a row, and again 25th August. But otherwise, more or less, the trajectory was very, very upward. The first time in the history of India, Sensex closed above 57,000. So if you, in the social media, there are now posts floating around that very soon Sensex will become senior citizen and Nifty will become young adult. Why? Because it will cross above 18,000 and Sensex can go above 60,000 and hence it can become a senior citizen. This is the fastest, the 1,000 journey which has happened in the recent past. Something similar happened in 2007, 2008. And it happened in 2021, August 2001. Sensex from 56 to 57,000 happened in few days only. So that's another thing which has happened. When you look at the monthly gain in the Sensex, highest. Not a single, so whatever the highest was May 2001, 6.5. Here it is 9.4. Okay. So after 2 months, where Sensex almost remained at the same level, this is the highest gain. But this gain, highest gain, did not reflect in the advanced decline ratio. In fact, if you look at advanced decline ratio, is the worst in last so many months. In fact, the point we saw in March 2021, it was 0.98. It went further below that. So this is the third month in a row, the advanced decline ratio is going down. In other words, there has been some amount of profit booking that is happening. That is for sure. Okay, if you remember my last month, same outlook, I said it has gone down, but it's not gone below 1. It's fine. But this time it has gone below 1. So what is a complete, the contradictory signal? On one hand, Sensex reported highest gain of 9%. But advanced decline ratio is completely showing contradictory trend. In other words, more company declined in the month of August as compared to advances, despite 9% gain in the Sensex, which is not a very good sign. I must tell you, it's not a very good sign. Okay. And I'll also again come back and I'll explain what does it mean, but it's not a very good sign. Okay. Now, if you remember what happened in March, the advanced decline ratio was in negative, but the Sensex was in positive. Am I right? 0.8%. What happened in April? The Sensex went down by 1.5%. Okay. But advanced decline ratio improved. On one occasion, which we saw, which we have a history, that the Sensex, the advanced decline ratio below 1 and the Sensex in positive, something similar happened in the month of August. Advanced decline is below 1, but Sensex in positive. But the only difference between March and August, that March, it was almost at the same level, the Sensex. But this time it's 9.4%, which is a very, very substantial jump. And this is not a very happy sign. I must tell you, it's not a very happy sign from the investor's point of view or from the trader point of view. I'll come to that. What does it indicate? The market cap is surging, no doubt, because of Sensex is surging. The first time in the history of India, India's market cap is 250 lakh crore. And if you look at the month-on-month jump in the market cap, it's 15 lakh crore as compared to what we saw in the month of July, only 4.5 lakh crore. And if you look at in April 2020, India was 125 lakh crore, 129 lakh crore. We have doubled in last couple of, in last more than a year or so. Can this really, this kind of fish sustain? The answer is no. I'll be very upfront, frank with you. The answer is no. Don't expect in next 15 months again, this India's market cap could be 500 lakh crore. It's not possible. It's not possible because pace of growth has to come down now. Don't expect what will happen in last 1 year or so will get repeated going forward. So I think it's a time has come when you need to taper down your taper tantrum has not happened, but you need to taper down your expectation in terms of return from the equity market. We had a very good run from April 2020 till August 2021, where 129 lakh crore increasing to 250 lakh crore. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. That's a reality check that we all need to understand, and we should start tapering down our expectation. Okay. Now, this is another interesting slide that is I'm presenting you. What happened in terms of indices? If you remember, whenever I did equity outlook, we always observed that Sensex and Nifty would not have done better. Nifty 50 would have done better than Nifty and Sensex. BSE 200 would have done better than Nifty 100, am I right? And Nifty 500 would have done better than the Nifty 200. In other words, the large cap are not doing well, mid and small cap are doing well, am I right? And this time, you look at what happened to this one. BSE Nifty did better than, or Sensex is better than BSE 100. BSE 200 did worse than BSE 100. BSE 500 did worse than BSE 200. And when you look at The mid cap is only up by 2.6 and small cap barely remained to say at the same level what it was there in the month of July. In other words, this rally has been driven by few companies. That's it. This rally has been driven by only few companies. It's not a broad-based rally, which normally we had seen in first 7 months of the 2021. In August, that has undergone a change. Small cap did not participate. Mid cap did participate, but underperformed significantly to the Sensex 9.44 and so forth. Which sector did well? If you remember, the realty was the best performing sector in the month of July. Am I right? In the month of August is among the worst performing. The sector retrocession to some extent happened. FMCG index was not being great, but this time FMCG index did well. The best performing index has been Nifty IT. So it did well in July also. It is doing in August also. Power as a sector did extremely well. And we all know there is a huge shortage of power in the country right now. Demand is huge. There is not enough supply. Why? And if you look at the IEX, that's international exchange. Sorry, that's not international exchange. It's a power exchange for exchange for the power. The price have gone up. Spot price have gone up substantially because there is a coal shortage. There is not any lot of coal is now being diverted to the power plant at the cost of not being supplied to the aluminum company and so on and so forth. So in the spot market, the power price has gone up, and that's reflecting in the gain of this. I don't know whether this will get sustained or not, but the fact of the life is that in August, it's a 12% up. The power index is up by this one, followed by finance. The banks continues to underperform. If you look at the banking, it's not done as much as what basically, and PSU bank continue to underperform second month in a row. Which what does it mean? It clearly means is very simple that despite Government of India disinvestment target, it's not somewhere reflecting in the prices. So there's been a constant drag on the PSU index second month in a row, and the reason has been that government did not put in the parliament the privatization bill for the PSU, and that has really impacted the sentiment. Consumption as a theme did well, 8.37%. But otherwise, if you look at it, the more broader the indices, the lesser the performance, which was exactly opposite of what happened in June, July, but not happening in August. Metal did not do well. There has been some amount of profit booking because of the news flow coming in, and pharma, which was underperforming, continued to underperform. But one sector that consistently eroding well is an auto. If you look at my monthly equity outlook presentation, you would have observed the reason I'm giving you this data point and this insight, because that will really help you to understand which direction market is going, which sector the market is attracting money and money. Auto seems to be out of the favor. And today, you all know, auto companies have declared the numbers for the month of August. That's a wholesale number. And Maruti again lost its market share. Why? Because Maruti data has been come out very, in fact, they reported decline as compared to what was shown as a double-digit growth in the total four-wheeler sales. Am I right? So auto sector, and of course the commentary is that chip shortage, input cost pressure, that new Madras High Court coming with that regulation, bumper to bumper insurance. And they're going to increase, but of course, everyone is seeking a clarity, but that it only applied to the Tamil Nadu as a region, which applies throughout the country. But that really created some amount of fear in the people's mind. Why? Because the car cost will go up. All right. And if that is so, it will further dampen the demand for the vehicles. So this is the basically mota IT consistent performer. FMCG is a surprise element. So is the power. We don't know whether that will get continue or not. But realty index, which did extremely well, complete change in the fortune. And auto is a consistent underperformer. Consistent underperformer. So is the case with PSU Bank. And Bank Nifty, if you look at it, despite it enjoys the highest weightage, it's only up by 5.3, underperforming the Nifty 50. So we get a clearly trend where the money is moving in from the investors. Now, in terms of market cap, which sectors saw the maximum market cap increase? It has been gas distribution. We all know because gas prices have gone up, whether it's a Gujarat Gas or everyone, they've increased the prices of the gas. Railways, mainly driven by RCTC. Healthcare, total market cap has gone up. Don't get confused with healthcare with the pharma. Okay, so that did well. IT software, as you all know, did well. FMCG did well in terms of overall market cap, and retail to some extent did well. But which sector did not do well? The sanitary ware, fertilizer, and sugar. Sugar, we all know that Government of India increased the FRP, that's the fair and remunerative prices for the sugarcane. When my input cost goes up, definitely it's not. Every sugar industry is expecting that price of sugarcane should go up, MSP. Sugar should go up. They are waiting for a approval from the Government of India. On the other hand, sugar prices in the international market is done extremely high because of Brazil factor, because of Thailand factor that's going up. Okay, stock brokers and commodity brokers, that segment did not do well. Cement product and so on and so forth. But telecom and handset mobile did well. Sanitary did not do well. Fertilizer, we all know there is a little offtake because of Kharif sowing has been less than what it was there last season, and almost 9% deficit is there in terms of monsoon. And today IMD again predicted that in the month of September, the monsoon would be above average. 2 months in a row, that is in month of July and August, we have received deficient monsoon, and due to that, the June to September monsoon season, we are down by 9%. That did impact the fertilizer as a sector, and the overall market cap of fertilizer went down by 11% in the month of August as compared to July. Nifty 50, who did well? Clearly, the Bajaj twins did extremely well. Both Bajaj companies are up in excess of 20%. Okay, and that also explains why market did well. The Nifty and Sensex did well. Tech Mahindra again. Tech Mahindra has been a very consistent performer. If you remember, in the month of this is for the July, this is for the August. Okay, this is not for the July, but this is for the August. They did well. The Tech Mahindra did well in the month of July, also in the month of August also. TCS continued to outperform. TCS continued to outperform, and so is the case with HCL Technology. Bharti Airtel, because of Sunil Bharti Mittal making and I can tell you tomorrow, Bharti Airtel is making a very big announcement. I don't know what that announcement is, but they've called for a virtual press conference, and it seems they are going to make a very big announcement. Bharti Airtel has gone on the record that the Sunil Bharti Mittal coming and addressing the analyst community, doing rights, and has said very clearly that ARPU will go towards 200 rupees in this financial year. And that really helped Bharti to do well. FMCG as a PEG did well, Britannia did well, Hindustan Unilever did well, and this one. Now, what is the beauty about the markets, Mojo? Okay. The company that you see in a blue font out of top 10 Nifty 50 performer, okay, his 6 companies are part of the model portfolio. Bajaj Finance, Bajaj Finserv, Tech Mahindra, TCS, HCL Technology, and Titan. They are part of model portfolio. They are part of a master list. So many of you, if you are paid members, would have seen that you hold this company in your portfolio, and they did well. Consistently, that is happening. That the company that did perform very well are part of the model portfolio. This is only for the month of August, and when you come to the year to date, that is 2021, which company in Nifty 50 did well? Tata Steel topped the list. Hindalco. So if you look at top 6 companies out of top 10, they are part of our model portfolio. Tata Steel, Hindalco, Bajaj Finserv, JSW Steel, Wipro, and Tasim. UPL did well in 2000. Tata Motors, State Bank of India, and Adani Ports. But which company did not do well? Very surprisingly, Kotak Mahindra Bank, Hero MotoCorp, Maruti Suzuki. Maruti Suzuki has been the constant. So out of top 4 companies which are going down is in red, 2 companies are from auto, and that explains you. And both are market leader. While Maruti Suzuki is a market leader in 4-wheeler, Hero MotoCorp is a market leader in 2-wheeler, and they are underperforming very significantly to the overall market. So you know where money is. But it's not only that. Hero MotoCorp, Maruti Suzuki. If you look at Eicher Motors, underperforming the Nifty 50. Bajaj Auto, underperforming the Nifty 50. And that explains you how poor the sentiments on the auto industry. FYI and DII, in both the cases, while for the month of August, in the cash segment, FI were net sellers, but they were buyers in futures and options, and due to that, we have a positive inflow of 2,000 crore. But DII investment reduced. They invested 18,000 crore in the month of July, but only invested 7,000 crore only. So that's a little slowdown in the DII investment. And if you look at retail investors, been really gung-ho about. They've been putting more and more money, and that one of the reasons you see some a kind of a buoyancy in the Sensex in the Nifty level. Result season is over, as we all know. The common theme that has run in the June 2021 quarter has been that there has been a higher input cost, higher logistic cost, but somehow company not able to pass on that to end customers because of subdued demand and the competitive pressure. Okay, because we don't want to lose the market share. But commentary for each and every India Inc. has been very, very positive. They do believe that June quarter was not the best quarter because of second wave, but they do believe that the next 9 months of FY22 would be very, very positive. And if you look at how the June 2021 quarter has been versus quarter on and Y on Y, decline of 8% in terms of top line, decline of 5% in terms of operating profit, and decline of 12% in terms of a net profit quarter on quarter versus March 2021. I'm not talking too much about June 2020 because that was a washout quarter because of lockdown. Okay. Based on this, if I look at last 4 quarters profit of India Inc., the total profit of India Inc. trailing 12 months is 8 lakh crore. Today we are commanding 250 lakh crore market cap. In other words, India Inc. is commanding a market price to earning of 31x, which is not cheap. Only hope that we are thinking that India Inc. will report going forward smarter growth. Now today, the government of India released the GST data. Am I right? And the GST data for the August is lower than what it was there for the month of July. Am I right? But it is higher as compared to what it was there Y on Y. And the very fact that they've reported more than 1 lakh crore is a good sign. But it's not a very great sign when you see Y on Y decline, month on month decline in terms of GST collection. So that's not a good sign. So today market is saying that yes, we can sustain 31x kind of the valuation because the growth in the earnings. But the GST collection data gives an indication that there seems to be some amount of slowdown in terms of the movement of goods and services. Is it because of the second wave which continued in some parts of the country, or is something else? We need to wait and watch. But this is what the data as we speak today. So what to expect going forward? And then we'll definitely open the floor for question and answer. It's not a very good sign that overall indices goes up, but the broader market did not participate in that. Okay. That means there is a profit booking happening in many counters. And this is my personal opinion. I suspect that there is a high probability that we could see a profit booking also happening in September 2. September 2, okay, in terms of profit booking. So what could happen? And this is only for 1 month. I'm not saying for what's going to happen in the future. You can see pockets of companies doing well, and there are pockets of companies which is not doing well. Okay, and that's where the Mojo stock selection and the model portfolio will become a very, very critical factor for all of you. Why? Because as you could see, 6 top best performing companies in 2021 are part of model portfolio. 6 companies that did extremely well for the month of August are part of our model portfolio. So it would be a stock specific approach that's going to play out very, very good. Okay. Monsoon till now has not done well. And that's a cause of concern. That's a cause of concern. I will be very frank with you, upfront with you. Why? Because it could put pressure on food inflation. If the food inflation goes up, CPI inflation will go up. And if CPI inflation goes up, RBI would be in no mood to decrease the rate of interest. On the contrary, they will be forced to increase the rate of interest. Okay. So monsoon is the one factor that market will be watching very, very carefully in the month of September. Otherwise, the season is over. The season of monsoon is June to September. In July, we received deficient. We thought it will make it up in the month of August. Okay. Now, in the month of August, we have some deficient rate. We expect this will get covered up in the month of September. If it doesn't happen in September, then monsoon season is over. Then there is no way then we can say. So we all need to wait and watch what's happening in the monsoon in the month of September. And there are certain pockets in India, I think the situation is not so great, especially like Gujarat, where exactly there is a less deficient, very, very deficient monsoon in Gujarat. And due to that, there could be impact on cotton prices, there could be impact on groundnut, which that's where Gujarat is one of the largest producer of this one. I don't know what would happen there, but this could be a cause of concern as we speak. What to expect going forward? Taper tantrum will not make any impact. It did not made an impact, and going forward it will not make impact. So as and when then of course in the last week of September there is a Fed meeting. Okay, but I don't expect to have any meaningful impact on the market sentiment. FMCG did well. What does this indicate? There is a risk of strategy that has happened in the month of August, and that may further continue in the month of September. In continuation of what I've been saying, that the advance decline ratio not so good, that suggests that risk of strategy is there, and that may continue in the month of for the month of September also. Realty index did not do well. What does this mean? The previous month it did well, it's not that. That sector rotation has continued. And something similar, it can also happen in the month of September. So don't make an assumption that एक month में ये sector चला है, that sector will continue going forward. Doesn't look like that. IPO market will remain little soft. Why am I saying soft? Because I do expect some amount of correction in the month of September, and that will not be good for the IPO market. Okay. Monsoon is one factor which market is watching very closely. The other factor is a Delta variant, third wave. There is a possibility that third wave may the number of cases, corona cases may increase. We don't know whether it will increase or not. Kerala, the situation now is not so great. In Maharashtra, it's another big state where definitely we will be watching very, very carefully what is happening there. So third wave is one factor that market would be watching very, very carefully in the month of September. If for some reason third wave is not there in September, there is no number of increase in third wave, there is no number of cases increasing in the September, more or less India can take a solace that third wave is not going to happen in India. That means we are able to bypass the third wave in this. And the last but not the least, the peak margin has come into force from today, that is from 1st September. We need to understand what kind of impact it will have. Today, I think there has been some circular which is coming in that this BTST will still be possible. And if you sell shares, you don't have to have 100% margin on that sell shares if it is delivery you have in the demat account. So that kind of clarification did help market, but we need to wait and watch what kind of peak margin is going to impact in terms of. So what should be your strategy? I do believe that September will not be a great month. Okay. What should be your strategy? Not to panic. Why am I saying not to panic? Because this is a part and parcel of the market. The more correction, it will make market little healthier. Okay. So, and also I'm telling you very upfront, okay, there is a possibility that your portfolio will not perform. It may underperform, but it's a short-term phenomenon. You don't have to panic. At the same time, do not try to time the market also. Okay, no one has been able to do it. You will also may not be able to do it. If at all you are able to time the market on the upside, very possible that high that you will not be able to time the market on the downside, and hence you will miss out the rally that could happen post correction, which we don't know. Okay. Stock specific approach is the wise things to do. Why I told you, you look at 6 companies for the month of August, best performing part of markets was the model portfolio. 6 companies which did extremely well in 2021, part of markets mojo. In other words, stock specific approach is the things to do. You need to bring discipline in this market to basically make money. And equity is all about 3 to 5 years. In other words, short-term volatility should not make you concerned, should not make you panic. I know many of you got little panic in the month of August. Am I right? And that shows your immaturity. If you commit to the equity market for 3 to 5 years, and this market, then this short-term volatility should not make you panic. Do not allow your human emotions to make impact. Follow our advice in a very, very disciplined manner and jot down my work, you would be fine. Short-term volatility should not make you concerned about the market. That's what my advice to you, all of you. So just to summarize, do expect market to remain little volatile in the month of September with a downward bias. Okay. Why? Because whenever market goes up by 9%, historically, we have seen the next month has been always been little soft. And something similar can happen in the month of September. Number one. Number two, market will be very, very watchful of monsoon and the COVID, third wave of COVID. Okay. And last but not the least, the IPO market will remain little soft. Despite 2 excuse opening, I'm not very hopeful. Of course, I've been reading some articles by some news portal that the IPO market will be very, very, number of IPOs will come out very, very high in the month of September. I believe they will try to postpone. If not postpone, then they will make the price very, very attractive because today no promoter wants to command less than 40p. I don't understand why. So I don't think that's a kind of a valuation game is going to be sustainable going forward. So that's what my, and last but not the least, you are in the equity market for 3 to 5 years, not for 1 or 2 months. And hence, do not get panicked. If there is underperformance, remain calm and cool. Yes, it will outperform very soon. It's just a matter of months. That's it. Don't get panicked. Okay. Having said that, as you all know that you have, many of you have requested that since it's a beginning end of the month, please extend your this offer of when we can save as 25,000 rupees first 2 days of September. I'm happy to inform you that we have accepted your request. You still have a chance to save as 25,000 rupees. How? Markets Mojo is increasing its 5-year Mojo professional price to 75,000. Since you are attending this webinar, this offer is nowhere else on our website also. Since you are attending this webinar, you can only pay 49,999. In other words, you can save 25,000 if you subscribe now. Not only that you save 25,000 rupees, today you will get 6 months extra if you make payment now. Not only you get 5 years, but you get 5 years plus 6 months. And we also have a 2 years offer. The Markets Mojo is going to increase its 2 years price to 25,000. Today, if you subscribe, you need to pay only 20,000 rupees. In other words, it's a massive saving of 5,000 rupees. Not only you save 5,000 rupees, you get 3 months extra. So, if you want to remain in a winning stock, if you want your portfolio to be in a winning portfolio, and I've so demonstrated that how in the month of August I've demonstrated something similar in the month of July also. It's a continuation of that. If you want, subscribe and become Mojo professional subscriber. If you are already a subscriber, if you want to extend, please extend because prices are going up. Then don't come and tell me the sub price have gone up. Can I use the previous thing? So if you extend as many times you want to do, you are not a subscriber, please become a subscriber by using this link. Jason, I would request you, please provide 5 years and 2 years link to the everyone, those who want to extend, those who want to subscribe, let them subscribe, and we'll open the floor for question and answer. Over to you, Jason.
Yeah. The first question by Mr. Sumit Kumar from the YouTube chat. All major crashes happen in September. In the last 13 years, also worst performing time was September. Do you think any signs of happening this time?
So don't use the word crash. Yeah, there could be a correction, which I am saying so, but that correction will make market healthy, sir. It's not a cause of concern. It's a, and see, remember, and I must make a statement here. Next 5 years, I'm expecting extremely bullish period for the Indian equity market. So any correction that will happen in the market and which will happen in next 60 months, that will make market extremely healthy. That will make market extremely healthy, because the more market goes up without healthy correction, that market has become more and more risky. Okay, and hence this correction should be used as keep adding more and more money in the equity market. That's what we should be doing. So yes, there will be corrections in the market, no crash in the market, and use that as an opportunity to put more and more money in the Indian equity market. Because yes, there could be a point. So what I also observed, the way you observe that September, I don't know whether that's right or not, but what I always observed, that during Diwali time, mood is extremely good. I've always observed that. There is another study which I did in my previous organization, that whenever you invest in the market in the month of October, probability is very, very high that by February, the market would have given you positive returns. So use this to insight to help you make money in the equity market.
Okay. We got this one question by Mr. Avinash. I hear a contradiction here. Earlier, you mentioned model portfolio is the right way to go. And now in this slide, it says stock-specific approach is better. I'm a bit confused.
Sir, what I mean to say stock-specific, that few stocks will go up, few stocks will not go up. That this rally could become more and more narrow. That's what I mean to say. Now, model portfolio approach, I said, because there we have a stock-specific approach. Why? Because we select stock. Markets want to select stocks based on bottom-up approach. We don't have any view on macro. We don't have any view on sector, and hence we select. And that stock-specific approach is those stocks which you will find in our model portfolio. That's what I mean by that.
Okay, a question by Anil. With China auctioning the metal reserves, what will be the impact of Tata Steel and Tata Metallic?
Sir, again, so first thing, there is no impact on Tata Steel. Why? Because China is not releasing reserves from its ferrous metal. What is announced is a non-ferrous metal, that is zinc, copper, and aluminum, and so on and so forth. But despite that, if you must have read that aluminum prices yesterday, it touched all-time high. There is more demand for aluminum than the supply. So China is making an attempt, and this is not the first time they are doing it. They did previously also. So what happened? Temporarily, there was a price correction, and again, prices started moving up. So I don't think that's going to make much of an impact. Yes, they are making that attempt, but eventually they will also run out of the reserves. Today, they are releasing reserves because they are putting a lot of restriction in terms of production in that plant. So the smelter plant, which you know what you need to manufacture aluminum, you need smelter. The smelter is a power guzzling. This one, since they want to reduce the pollution, they're asking some of this aluminum smelter to go soft, go a little slow in terms of production, and that is reducing that supply. To mitigate that reduction in the supply, they are growing some of the reserves from their what they have already created to maintain the supply. But remember, China is not going to be the exporter; it's going to be a net importer.
Okay, a question by Mr. Sandeep Shah. You said we should fully be invested, but can we keep, let's say, 10 lakh surplus fund in liquid so that we have something in hand when there's a better opportunity or big market correction? If we are fully invested, then we have nothing in hand to invest further when there is any better opportunity or a big correction.
Yes, Sandeep. So basically, if you ask any fund manager all across the world, except Warren Buffett, because he has been waiting for to invest in a good quality company, somehow has not been able to invest, and they're sitting on a huge pile of cash, and that's one of the reasons Berkshire Hathaway, the company that he owns, has been underperforming significantly. Sandeep, next you can keep 5% or so, if at all you want to keep some dry powder, but not beyond that. Otherwise, what would happen? You will keep your what we call then you will end up trying to time the market, Sandeep. And see, this is all the probability what I said. It's not necessary that it is going to happen for surety. This is my way of analyzing the data. Sandeep, it may or may not happen, but you can keep up 5%. Now that 10 lakhs, it's 5% of your overall portfolio, then yes, you can do that. But if it's going to happen 50% or 60% of portfolio, then Sandeep, then I think it's a wrong strategy to do that.
Okay. Yeah. So there's one question by Varun. With Airtel organizing an analyst call tomorrow and you're expecting a big announcement, and media is speculating about Google investment in Airtel, is it prudent to take a call option in Airtel tomorrow?
Sorry, I am not an expert in terms of call options and put options. Whether you should I don't know what is there. If suppose that news doesn't come out, then what happens? The price will fall, isn't it, sir? So I don't have any idea, sir. My request to all of you, I will never ever in my life will invest based on news, because that I'm doing satta. I'm not doing investment. And I will never ever encourage people to do satta in the market. I'll always take investment approach, number one. Number two, take portfolio approach. That's what my advice to all of you. Tomorrow, I don't think it's an analyst meet. Tomorrow, I think they have invited media. I'm not aware if they've invited analysts also. I'm not aware about it. But they are basically, that's what I've been informed, that they are doing a virtual big announcement they're going to do, and they've invited media for this. So wait and watch. It's a news driven, and never ever in life take investment decision based on news. Invariably it will go wrong. Invariably, out of 10 times, 9 times you will go wrong.
Okay. Yeah. So this question by Mr. Vish, if the signs are not good, do you suggest squaring off the money put on the model portfolio?
So again, that's why I won't tell you. You need to invest in the equity market for the long term, right? Time and again I've said 3 principles when you come and create model portfolio. Never put your emergency money to the model portfolio. Never do. Number 2, never borrow money and invest in the model portfolio. And number 3, whenever you invest your investment horizon, they will bring that money which you need for next 3 to 5 years. Now, if these 3 conditions are there, how does it matter? एक महीने में क्या होने वाला है market? Why you want to take it? See, don't try to time the market. That's what I'm again telling you. The reason I'm giving you the expectation low, I'm just trying to tone down the expectation, because it's like this. If you think your kid will score 90% in the exam, and assume he score only 89%, you will get dejected, am I right? अरे उसको तो 90 से ऊपर आना था, उसको 89% आ गया. And imagine you are expecting your kid to only score 65% in the exam, and the kid basically scored 89%. What happens? You will feel excited. The score is 89%, and your child has scored only 89% in the exam. But your expectation is a function of your expectation. What happened to your, either you are excited or you are dejected. Right? What I am saying is very simple. And this is not only for 1 month. I'm saying for going forward. Going forward, equity market will not give, because I showed you that chart. Since April 2020, the market of India has doubled. Should we expect by August 2022, the Indian market kept to double? The answer is no. That's what I want to say. So keep your expectation. Don't expect what happened in last 12 months and 15 months. That's going to get replicated going forward. That's not going to happen. Number 1. Number 2, your expectations should remain little now sober down. And if you do that, then it's fine. Otherwise, what would happen? You will have a hard bunch, because the expectations are wrong. That's what I'm just what I want to harp on. I hope it's clear to you.
Okay, we got this one question by OS and a lot of investors. Can we top up the extension? I had subscribed to a different offer last week, just started attending the webinar.
Yes, sir, you can do that, top up. And you will not lose a single day of your subscription if you do top up, because your new subscription will start only post the existing will come to end. Number one. Number two, very soon we are increasing the price, and you get a golden opportunity to extend. So you don't, once it's come for renewal, you don't have to pay the higher prices. So it's a very good mix. Yes, you can do the top up.
Okay, we got one question in Hindi. This is by Gaurav. Sir, JM Financial पर आपकी क्या सलाह है? क्या इस कंपनी में कोई corporate governance issue है?
कोई दिक्कत नहीं है सर इस कंपनी में, जेएम फाइनेंशियल में. इनफैक्ट मैं एक बात बोलूं आपको, जेएम फाइनेंस इज वन ऑफ द फाइन, बहुत अच्छी मैनेज कंपनी है फाइनेंस सेक्टर में. ये कंपनी आज से नहीं है, ये कंपनी बहुत सालों से जेएम फाइनेंशियल जो कंपनी साहब जो इसको मैनेज करे इज वन ऑफ द फाइनेस्ट ब्रेन व्हेन इट कम्स टू द निमेश कंपनी साहब जो मैनेज, उनके बेटे जो भी आगे है वो भी बहुत बढ़िया कंपनी को मैनेज करे. कोई आपको दिक्कत नहीं है, आप इस पे बने रहिए. बहुत अच्छी कंपनी है और हमें लगता है कि ये कंपनी बहुत अच्छा करेगा. नंबर वन. नंबर टू, अगर आप देखोगे बहुत सारे जो आईपीओ आ रहे हैं, बहुत सारे आईपीओ ये जेएम फाइनेंस मैनेज कर रहा है. उसका मतलब ये हुआ कि जब ये आईपीओ जाती है तो उसकी जो इन्वेस्टमेंट फी आती है ये कंपनी को आएगी. तो मुझे नहीं लगता इसमें आपको कोई चिंता का विषय है. आपको इसमें आप बने रहिए, कोई चिंता मत. उसमें आपको कहाँ पे किसी ने भड़क दे दी कि इस कंपनी में कोई कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस का इश्यू है, ये कंपनी बहुत ही अच्छी कंपनी है, कोई कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस इश्यू नहीं है.
Okay. One question by Chandresh. Vedanta has declared good dividend, but that attracts 30% tax. Is it advisable to get out of the same and purchase the same after record date? Anyways, there will be a price correction after dividend accordingly. Please advise.
So, Chandresh, there are the people in this webinar who believe that the company, when they declare higher dividend, they should buy. And as you rightly point out, and I've tried to educate investors time and again, okay, don't chase those companies just because these companies have declared higher dividend. And as you rightly said, if you are paying 30%, if you are in a tax bracket of 30%, it makes little sense to invest just because of it's a dividend yield stock. Okay, higher dividend is paying dividend. Now coming to the Vedanta, I think it's a good company to invest in, Chandresh. So if that company is a good company and on the top of it is also giving you higher dividend yield, might as well buy it. No? Then what stops you? Of course, you will pay dividend. Now, I am not very sure that what logic you are saying that it will fall after the ex-dividend. I'm not very sure about that. Today, the sentiment is down. That's why Vedanta is available at a low, less than 10 rupees. Imagine if the sentiment improves and you are waiting for this company to become ex-dividend, then you will miss out on the rally, which will happen between now to ex-dividend journey. So, Chandresh, normally I don't recommend buying company because of dividend yield, but this company is a mojo stock, and hence I will recommend to you. And I'm recommending you buy not because it's dividend yield. I'm recommending you buy because this company has a strong fundamental factors. And that's why I'm recommending you to buy Chandresh. And by asking you to buy for capital appreciation, not for dividend yield.
Okay. We got this one question by Mr. Manish Kapadia from the YouTube chat. Sunil, sir, I'm a Mojo professional customer. What's your view on gold? With so much cash printing that has happened in the last 1 year, is gold good from an asset allocation point of view?
So, as an asset allocation, you should always have some portion of to the gold. That's it. It does help you to reduce the risk. It's a diversification strategy. And why does people would do diversification? To reduce the risk, number one. Number two, it's also counter-cyclical. In the sense, gold normally does well when there is a fear in the market. Why? Because it's a risky, people want to put money in a safe assets. So it's always a good strategy to put gold. And remember, gold has not done well in last 1.5 years, 2 years. And hence, there is a possibility that it may start doing well. In fact, I think Mark Mobius or someone very recently suggested that you should allocate 10% to the gold as an asset allocation strategy. So if inflation has to come back, which I was making a presentation in my slide, that even RBI has increased the inflation target for FY22. If US is going to face inflation, whether it's a transitory or not, we don't know as we speak. But that's what these people. But if the inflation has to come back, gold is a good strategy to play against inflation. So maybe yes, you can definitely put 5 to 7% or 10% as a strategy this is my personal view. This is not Markesh Mojo view, and maybe Mohit's view could be a little different than mine. But you can use gold as a strategy to diversify your risk.
Okay. Just one particular question from an anonymous attendee. While you are not optimistic about auto sector, then why are you gung-ho about the auto ancillary companies?
That's a very good question, and I'm happy that you asked. In fact, you have not disclosed your name, so I cannot take your name because it's anonymous. The reason is very simple. So first thing, our system, में बहुत सारी auto ancillary companies are coming. So it's a system which is suggesting that there will be a bullishness in the auto ancillary companies. Am I right? Now, on one hand, while auto companies have not done well, but auto ancillary companies have done well. Am I right? If you look at GNN Excel, if you look at Minda Industries, so and so forth. Am I right? So the companies that are coming, they have created wealth. I can understand on one hand, auto companies have not done well, and even the auto companies have not done well. But that's not the case. They have done well. That means our system has picked up right company to make money. Am I right? So that answers your question. Number one. Now coming to your question about if auto is not doing well, then why auto ancillary will do well? Reason a couple of them. Reason is it looks like that while auto plays are only OEM play, am I right? But auto ancillary is a play of three things. They supply to OEM players, they supply to replacement market, they supply to the export market. In other words, the domestic OEM may not do well, but if the global players are doing well, then why not to invest in those companies? You can definitely supply, am I right? The OEM play is not doing, but that doesn't mean the OEM market is not a replacement market is not doing well. So that is doing well. So auto and auto ancillary, sometimes we do get confused with auto and auto ancillary. Auto ancillary have three levers, while auto plays only one lever. Auto ancillary has a lever of OEM, auto has a lever of replacement market, and auto ancillary has a lever of export market. I hope that clarify your doubt about why auto ancillary and why auto. Hope that the difference is clear.
Okay, and one particular question asked by a lot of investors about IT sector. I'll pick this question by Ben. Your view on IT sector of September, especially stocks like Infosys, which is a part of the portfolio. Infosys has been falling over the last couple of days as well. Should we invest more now or hold for some time?
So if you remember, I did one webinar in the month of July or August. I'm not able to recollect, where I talked about why I believe IT sector will do well. And that has really come true. What I predicted has come true. Why? Because in the month of July also IT sector did well. In the month of August also IT sector did well. And so I don't know what will happen in 1 month. So let me be very frank with you. I don't know. But I personally believe that IT as a sector will do extremely well going forward also. So I don't have the visibility for 1 month. But if you ask me, will it do well in next 3 months and 6 months? My answer is very clearly yes. Why? Because each and every IT company, when they declare the numbers in the first week of October, they will all come out with a very good set of numbers. The demand is extremely good. Not only that, the commentary would also be extremely good, buoyant, and that will again make this company, they will continue to make this company as an outperformer. So, Infosys is a good company, it's a buy. Since you're holding in the model portfolio, please continue to hold. And I can tell you with confidence, you are making money in that company. Despite in the last couple of days, it may have come under some kind of a profit booking, but you will definitely be making money and very good money on Infosys. Please continue to hold this company, nothing to worry about it. IT as a sector will do extremely well. I don't know about 1 month, but next couple of months, they will definitely continue.
Okay, so Mr. Sunil, Manish Sachdev from the YouTube chat has actually asked for the Infina INR link. If you don't mind, can I drop it in the YouTube chat?
Yeah, Manish. Please, Jason, please put it. We have also increasing our price to $599 on InfinHub. Today, you are getting at $399. You can definitely do that. Plus, you're getting 100 days extra if you subscribe now. So please offer Jason.
Yeah. Okay. So Raj, Mr. Raj has this one particular question. He's saying that what percentage of our overall equity exposure to should be in a non-Indian market as a diversification strategy?
So I don't have a very ready-made answer, Raj. I'll be very frank with you. We are working on various things to tell you. So we will put it in a. We want to do it with a scientific manner, where we can tell you how much you should allocate to the international market, how much you should take exposure to Indian equity market. We are working on that data analysis as we speak. It's also a function of what kind of size of your portfolio. Suppose if you have a 10 lakhs portfolio, I'm just giving an example, then it doesn't make sense to definitely go outside India and invest in, because that's really, then you should be invested only in Indian equity market. It's also a function of the size of the portfolio that you have. There's a one advantage which I must tell you, all of you, the benefits of investing in the international market. Okay, one is that rupee normally depreciates against the dollar. It has not happened in the last couple of years. That's a different story. But eventually it will happen because of the difference in the inflation rate. That's number one. Number two, there are certain companies which are only available in the international market. Suppose today you are a customer of an Amazon. You are extremely gung-ho about that Amazon will do well. But unfortunately, you are not able to play. Why? Because Amazon is not listed in India. But that is possible if you invest in the international market. Am I right? Same way Tesla, you are extremely bullish on electrical vehicle. Today in India, we don't have a single electrical vehicle play. So these are the theme base is possible to invest in the international market. That's it. But how much in India, how much in international market? So I don't have a ready-made answer. Number one, number two, it's also a function of the size of your portfolio. If you have 5 lakhs and 10 lakhs, I don't think it makes a lot of sense for you to go and diversify into international market.
Question by Mr. Ajay Bhargava. What's your view on SIS? The stock is currently going down from my purchase price.
Please continue to hold. It's a part of our master list. It's part of our mojo stock. We are very confident this company will create wealth. Please continue to hold. See, remember, no company can have a linear price movement. Sometimes it does go up immediately. Sometimes it takes some time to go. But as and when it starts going up, it will recover all the bad thing. If you remember, some of you had also asked me a question on HL. And at that point of time, the script was not performing. And I told you, similar manner. Please continue to hold. We are very confident it will do well. And the same HL has started doing extremely well. And today, many of you who have bought it, when the script must be down after you bought it, but today it's substantially higher than your purchase price. Something similar can also happen with SIS. So please continue to hold.
Okay, Dr. Jay has this question. Your view on Redington India. Should we still hold it, or is it going to correct more after the bonus?
Sir, please continue to hold. It has gone ex-bonus, sir. Redington India is ex-bonus, sir.
Okay. Question by Mr. Frank. Hero MotoCorp is gearing up for the upcoming festive season, and with several positive indicators such as decent monsoon resulting in encouraging farm activity in most parts of the country, and the several government schemes in the social sector, the company remains optimistic about demand in the coming months. What's your opinion on Hero MotoCorp?
Sir, I believe that some of the data points that you mentioned in your question are not really right, actually. Why? Because monsoon is not good. Okay. In fact, if you remember, the bike is one thing which normally get consumed in the rural India as compared to scooter. Scooter is more of an urban product, while bike is more of a rural product. And we need to wait and watch how the monsoon, because right now the monsoon is deficit by 9%, number one. Number two, I think, see, what is going to happen, Mr. Frank, is that today more and more people are basically little excited more about the electrical bikes. And that's where I think Hero Motor has to really convince market that it has a product up its sleeve, which is a game changer in terms of the electrical vehicles. Of course, they do have a stake in Ather, which is another two-wheeler electrical vehicle play. But I think the market is waiting for the clarity of thoughts, number one. Number two, I think there has been some family dispute within the Munjal family that who can use Hero as a brand name for the electrical vehicles. And that's also is dampening the sentiment. So what you said, I'll take those comments with a pinch of salt. I think till such time that clarity doesn't come out, I think Hero Motor may continue to underperform. It has underperformed last 5 years, last 10 years, even year to date, it has underperformed significantly. And with Ola coming out with a massive plan of electrical vehicles, I think we need to wait and watch. And market definitely is seeking a clarity from Hero MotoCorp. The better they come out with the clarity, the better it would be for the stock and the promoters to create wealth for the investors.
Okay. This one particular question by Mr. Rakesh Singh from the YouTube chat. What's the impact of the SEBI's rule related to margin in day trading and equity market? Could you elaborate further on that?
So I do suspect that some speculative element will go away from the equity market, which is in a way is good also, because lot of whenever there is a better what we call the class of investors, that makes the market little healthier. Now in short term, there could be impact, but what would happen? It will always leave the serious investors in this market, and if that is so, it is good. And of course, I'm very sure that brokers will come out with some kind of a mechanism where they can fund you to meet that margin. So suppose you need a margin, you don't have the money. The broker will come out with some kind of a lending mechanism, which will help you to lend money from the broker, meet the margin obligation, and you will be able to do. Yes, it can have an impact, but not a very substantial impact in terms of overall volume on the market. That's what my understanding is. So it's not that this is the first time we have seen the increase in the margin. This margin has been steadily increasing, 25%, 50%, 75%, and now 100%. And we did not see any meaningful impact on the volume as in when there has been incremental increase in the margin. So I don't think we will see temporarily, yes, but not long-term much of a impact.
Okay, Mr. Binoy asked a question based on your reply. Is there any reason SEBI has put this charge into place?
Just to curb the volatility and just to remove the speculative element from the market.
Okay. Yeah. So going forward, a question by Sudeshna Dattadas. Hi, Mr. Sunil. Mojo, does it purely pick stocks based on AI, or are you verifying the stocks before suggesting?
No, repeat. Sunil?
Does Markets Mojo purely pick up stocks based on AI, or are you verifying the stocks before suggesting?
So, okay. So the AI will tell us the company that is coming, that can come into the Mojo stock and the model portfolio. Am I right? Now, the basket will come, and then our investment committee, which I head the investment committee, will give a stamp of approval. So that happens. But investment committee on their own cannot add a single company as a Mojo stock if that company is not coming based on our IA. Only filtration investment committee can do. Investment committee has no rights to add any company as a buy in the Mojo stock. I hope that's a difference you understand. We can reject the company, but we cannot add a company if it has not come to the AI-based analysis.
Okay. Yeah. So this one particular question by Parikshit. How much percentage of my portfolio profit should I set aside for the upcoming technical trading products?
Sir, अभी तो launch किया नहीं है ना. Just wait and watch. We'll tell you what to do with that. We'll come up with a strategy. The way someone was asking, na, how much exposure we should take to the international market and Indian market. Same way, we will come and tell you how much you should put that money aside for the technical product. Let us come out with the technical product, and we'll tell you that. Right now, please remain invested in our product which we are there. Once we launch a technical product, we'll come with that solution also. We'll tell you how much we should do that.
Okay. One question by Mr. Sandeep Puri. Thank you for the excellent webinar. My question is on Lux Industries. What can we expect long-term from this script? Also, how do you compare going forward Lux Industries to Page Industries in terms of sales, profit, and stock performance?
So if we look at it, the Lux Industries we recommended as one of the stock of the month, also is part of the Mojo stock. It's part of our model portfolio. So the company focused to creating brand. So when a company focus on a brand, it has a pull factor. Okay, and they have some of the best brand ambassadors, whether it's Amitabh Bachchan, Virat Kohli, Varun Dhawan. For the female segment, they have Taapsee Pannu and so forth. And that's what I really like about that. Okay. So this company has been gaining market share. They are focusing on the various region, and that makes Lux Industries is a good buy. They would see this innerwear is a one business where a lot of unorganized to organized segment is happening. That shift is happening. People are becoming more and more brand conscious in a US segment. Second thing, they moved, they acquired some of the the group company into this. It's going to reflect in the top line growth and bottom line. And the female segment, which is a lagging business, which is there, I think going to drive the top line and the bottom line. So we are extremely bullish on the Lux Industries. On the other hand, Page Industries is a very great company. But in the last couple of years, it has started underperforming very significantly. If my memory serves me right, I think the Page Industries underperformed very significantly last 4-5 years. Okay, let me just take you to the Jason, if you don't mind. I just take you to the. If you can see my screen, the Page Industries last 1 year outperformed, 2 years also, but last 3 years it's underperformed this one. 4 years not so great. 5 years almost in line with what the overall market is actually. So in a way, it is not in last 6 months up by only 14% or so. So in a way, some kind of a fatigue is coming in terms of, my sense is that some investors are getting out of Page Industries to guide some of the new players like Lux Industries and so on and so forth. So I'm extremely bullish on Lux Industries. And I must tell you one thing, those who are paid members, we will tell you when to exit from Lux Industries. We will do exclusive webinar only for you. And we'll tell you why we are asking you to get exit from this, why we are asking you to book profit from Lux Industries. Only paid members that will get that privilege.
Okay, this one particular request by Brijesh, he's put a number of times in the chat box. He's saying, can I save this link now and use it after a few days? I'm still evaluating the Mojo product.
My request to you, I cannot promise you to see. Reason we did, if you remember, Brijesh, some of you basically requested that you're expecting some salary coming in. Okay, and hence you requested, please do not do injustice to us. We want to do it. Please extend. That's why we did. I cannot promise you. I'll tell you. Because if it's available at that point of time, you take it or you pay the higher price. The choice is yours. But our price, I told you what price we are increasing. So choice is yours. And why you want to evaluate? How long will you take to evaluate? Is this not convincing you? This data that some of the stocks, Tata Steel, Hindalco, Bajaj Finserv, JSW Steel, the best performing company in 2020 are part of Wipro, Grasim. Same way, the best performing company in the month of July, Bajaj Finance, Bajaj Finserv, Tech Mahindra, TCS, Textile Technology, Titan. We hold these companies in our model. Don't you this data convince? I don't know what data points you are waiting for to get convinced. I don't know. But the choice is yours, Brijesh. I cannot promise it will be available or not. The choice is yours, whether you want to pay 25,000 higher a few days later or you want to avail this offer.
Okay. Yeah, so Shriram has this particular observation. Though you mentioned 6 stocks which has performed and are part of model portfolio. When I created the model portfolio, I didn't get these stocks in the last couple of months. Could you elaborate why?
It's a function of your risk profile that you chose, number one. Number two, at that point of time, you would have selected the best stock. So this is only for Nifty 50 companies, sir. So there could be possible that the other stock that you created a couple of months, there are many companies which may have performed very well for the month of August. But I have just taken Nifty 50 companies. So that could have happened. So how does this, when we create a model portfolio, we select the stock based on the score of the company, number one. And then we look at, based on your risk profile, whether we are breaching any market cap limit or sector cap limit. And if that is not being breached, we'll keep selecting the best score, next best score, next best score, and that's how we'll fill up the bucket of your model portfolio. That's how we do that. So this is only for Nifty 50 company, but I'm so sure some of the company that you're holding in the model portfolio as we speak would have also among the best performing stock in that respective category, maybe in BSE 200, BSE 500, as the case may be.
Okay, Mr. Sam, who's recently joined Markets Mojo, said that I've currently created a model portfolio in the last 1 month and the portfolio is currently down by -6%. Should I close the model portfolio and enter again later?
No, sir. Since you already invested, just please follow our advice in disciplined manner. I told you that it's not only your portfolio underperforming. When this PMS will come out with the data, Many of would have underperformed. I can tell you with this one. So 1 month doesn't define. Please follow our advice. And if you've already invested, please don't close it down. If you have not invested, create new model portfolio. But if you please follow our advice, we are very confident, sir, it will start outperforming. You don't have to look at 1 month-to-month kind of a performance. What you should look at it, whether I'm going to create wealth for myself and my family members over 3 to 5 years. And we are very confident, sir, on that.
Okay, we've got one more question on model portfolio. It's by Deepak. How many scripts are kept generally, and how many scripts are churned every month?
In what? Mojo stock?
Model
The
portfolio.
master. So model portfolio, sir, we have so in aggressive we'll have 10 stocks. In moderate we'll have 12 stocks. In conservative we'll have 15 stocks. Okay, 10, 12, and 15. And on an average, your model portfolio gets churned by 1.5 to 1.75x in a year. That's what would happen. And if you look at our model portfolio, created huge wealth for the investors, irrespective of whether market is going up or market is going down, provided you follow in a disciplined manner and you look evaluate on a at least in a 12 months period. Okay, so that's what happens. Of course, 1 month we may underperform, 2 months we may underperform, no doubt about it. But same portfolio which is underperforming 1 and 2 months would have outperformed when you look at for the 1 year. Same portfolio, I'm saying so. So that's what it happens.
Okay, a question by Mr. Valiappan from the YouTube chat. He's asked about these jewelry companies. Your view on Titan and Thangamayil Jewelers, sir. In view of Diwali, can we buy more?
So I don't know much about the Thangamayil, sir, but Titan is our mojo stock and it's part of our model portfolio, which I could show. It's a good buy. And I was yesterday only I was listening to the CFO of Titan. The way he said, see what has happened. I think we all need to understand that there is a 100% now hallmarking which has happened, and that's going to make life a little difficult for the unorganized player. And due to that, the organized sector will gain market share, and the Titan has been the biggest player in the organized player, and they will gain the market share. So Titan is a mojo stock we hold in the model portfolio. It's a buy in our system. I can definitely tell you Titan is a buy. And we will tell you also when to exit. If you are a paid member, sir, we will tell you. So the beauty with Markets Mojo na, Markets Mojo सिर्फ buy नहीं बोलता, आपको बताता है कभी exit भी करना. We want our investor to be Abhimanyu in the Arjun in the stock market. While other experts will make you Abhimanyu, they will only tell you when to enter. They will not tell you when to exit. Markets Mojo not only tell you when to enter, it will also tell you when to exit. And Titan, we will tell you when to exit at the appropriate time. Thangamayil Jewelry, I don't have any views, sir. Please look at the score of the company and follow our score. That's the best way you can help you get the bulk for the market.
Okay, I'll pick this one question by Mr. Ruchi. He says, Jason, kabhi to sawal pooch lo bhai. I'll just ask this question. Is there an intelligent practice to purge model portfolio by reducing, saying 30% of the portfolio and adding new 30% higher mojo stocks as predicted by the IP?
I have not done any kind of a back testing to say with confirmation that this strategy, what we are doing is right or not. But I can tell you one thing is that if you follow our model portfolio over a longer period of time, we have created CAGR return of 45% for a period of 5 years. 45%. Which fund manager has created 45% CAGR for 5 years? Zero. So I can tell you our model portfolio does extremely well, provided you follow discipline. The strategy that you have talked about, I don't have any backtesting strategy, and hence I will not be able to comment whether it's a good strategy or not. But I can definitely tell you, model portfolios create a lot of wealth, and we are very confident it will create a lot of wealth for the investors even going forward. The choice is yours, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So going forward to the next question, this is by Mr. Mahesh Kaushal. He's saying, what's the future of Hindalco in view of what China has recently announced?
Extremely bullish, sir. If the aluminum prices are touch all-time high, Hindalco will be the biggest beneficiary of that. Number one. Number two, the kind of product that Hindalco is into, okay, it's into that FRP, flat rolled products, that basically is a very highly valued item. Not many people can manufacture that. This beverage can sit. जो आप Pepsi Coca Cola पीते हो ना can में, this company manufactured that. The most of the revenue comes from that subsidiary which is Novelis that they acquired in 2007, 2008. It's 100% subsidiary. That company manufactured that. So it's extremely bullish scenario. Sir, Hindalco, we have recommended as stock of the month, and we are very confident that this company will do extremely well. And number one, number two, if you look at this company, want to reduce a lot of leverage. That will also reflect in their in the bottom line, right? Because the cash flow that they are generating, they're using that cash flow to repay the debt, and that's going to not only they're going using that as debt repayment. Both Novelis and Hindalco credit rating has improved. In other words, they can refinance the existing borrowing with a cheaper rate of borrowing, and that will further reduce the cost of borrowing. So Hindalco is a very good. We believe it's strong. We believe strongly that Hindalco will do extremely well, and hence, please, if you bought it, please continue to buy. China factor is not going to make any impact on Hindalco on the aluminum prices. Linton Hindalco prices.
Okay, one question by Mr. Prasad. Hi, Mr. Sunil. Deepak Nitrite has a score of 90, is a strong buy, but not currently a Mojo stock. Can we buy this stock now as but it's currently at a high price given the current market scenario?
Sir, our IP says it's a buy. Our investment committee has not yet approved as a Mojo stock. See, remember the same Deepak Nitrite we recommended you investing in the month of March or April 2020, and it exited as a part of Mojo stock and part of Mojo only a couple of months back, giving you almost 300-400% return. So and you remember there is a foreclosure which has been announced by one of the player of Phenolics in the Taiwan or somewhere. I think it's Taiwan only, and due to that the price of Phenolics have gone up very, very high, and that really benefit Deepak Nitrite. So our investment committee is looking at it and trying to understand the business case scenario, and we'll look at it. But yes, Deepak Nitrite is a buy, but not a Mojo stock.
Okay. So there's one particular question by Neha is that should I buy Kalpataru Power at current price for investment? Will the power sector performer be good in a year's span?
Yes, it's a Nehal or Neha?
Neha.
Okay. Always I get confused, Jason, whenever you say. So yes, ma'am, you can definitely buy. Kalpataru Power is a Mojo stock. We continue to believe it will do well. It's also doing debt reduction and so on and so forth. They are moving out from some of the SPVs, which they believe will not be value accretive. It's a good company to get into. You can definitely buy Neha.
Okay, one question by Mr. Stanley. If you say that we should not expect September to be great compared to earlier months, then my aggressive model portfolio, which has been slightly down in 1 month, might still further go down in spite of the stock market going high. I'm concerned about since most of the stocks are small and mid caps, which are being impacted negatively due to this, such as Tata Metallics. I'm still going to hold on to the portfolio as long as there is no churn in the folio in September, but due to market fall, Mojo stocks might respond faster and change due to technical parameters. Could you help me in this?
Stanley, number one, don't get too much panic. Don't get too much concerns about whether stock will go up or go down. As I told you, even if the market is to go down, okay, not necessarily that the stock that you hold in the portfolio will also go down. Okay, we are making all assumption that ये हो जाएगा तो ये होगा, वो होगा तो वो होगा. Stanley, not necessarily that is going to happen. And assume that your portfolio further underperforms, just for the argument's sake. Could you get concerned with 1 or 2 month performance? The answer is no. As I told you, and as I was responding to another previous question, I'm telling you, don't look at 1 month, 2 months. We are very confident, despite 1 month or 2 month underperformance. If you look at 1 month, 1 year, the same portfolio which was underperformed would have outperformed significantly. And something similar will happen with your Stanley, with your portfolio also. So don't get too much panic. Of course, we are making all assumptions. Whether that assumption will come true or not, we don't know. But even if that comes true, don't panic. Don't panic. Period. The same portfolio, as I was telling you, Diwali is a very good time for the market to bounce back. The same portfolio may start doing very well in Diwali because October, the Diwali is going to come. Am I right? And market will start with festive season. Normally, the festive season is a good time for market to go up. That's what I've observed historically. And you can check the data and you'll realize that's what happens.
Okay, so Deepak, you've asked that if you could extend multiple times on the Infinitive offer. I'm dropping the link again. Yes, currently you can extend for multiple times, but the link would be closing shortly. I'll just pick this one question by Abhishek. I'm sure a lot of investors might be having this doubt. So he's saying Minda Industries is in my model portfolio. The score is, however, showing 65. It's now not reflecting in the current Mojo list. Should I sell it?
No, sir. Since you're holding Minda in the model portfolio, please continue to hold, sir. We will tell you when to exit. If you're a paid member, we'll tell you when to exit. You don't have to worry about it because what we call, we are looking at it. We know what we are talking about. So don't have to get out of this. We'll tell you when to exit from Minda Industries. I think, see, this is the same company. Remember, the Mojo stock. It was a Mojo stock, and since it became Mojo stock, it gave you a return, right? So on one hand, auto company struggled to give returns. This company gave returns to the investors, and that's the beauty about it. So Minda Industries last 6 months is up by near about 23-24%. Is this the same logic can you apply for Maruti? Is the same you can say for Hero MotoCorp or Bajaj Auto or Eicher Motor? The answer is no. So on one hand, auto company did not do well, but Minda Industries did well. Auto and cell. That's what the divergence which I was trying to make in understand is this because of this.
Okay, Mr. Sunil, that's it with the Q&A session.
Okay, thanks a lot. I thoroughly enjoyed the question answer session. Very, very nice, intelligent questions coming in. Just a gentle reminder that Market Mojo is increasing its price. We are adding more and more feature technicals coming up very soon. And once we do that, the price for 5 years will go up by 25,000 rupees. And for 2 years, it will go up by 5,000. If you want to lock in the price now, please do that. Why? Because there's another advantage. You get 180 days for 5 years as an extended period of subscription and 90 days for 2 years. Jason, my request to you, please put both the link for the benefit of the subscriber, those who want to subscribe, those who want to extend. Please do that immediately without any delay. Just please put again for Infinitive also, those who want to do that, please do that also so they can also subscribe to it. Thanks a lot, everyone, once again for taking time out and attending this webinar. Thanks a lot, Jason, for hosting this webinar. Over to you. And Mr. Ratnakar Mahendale, I think you are saying that your question has not been taken up. Jason, please put it, make it a point that next time you take up his question, sir, we'll definitely try to respond to you.
Yeah, right. Except tomorrow I'll pick it up itself. We have a Q&A session tomorrow at 7 p.m. So don't worry. I know I've not been able to pick up all questions, but I've noted down some names and tomorrow I'll prioritize your questions first. We also have a professional webinar, which is only limited to our paid professional members. We are reviewing one stock of the month tomorrow at around 2:30 p.m. I won't disclose the name, but if you're a paid member and you come to the webinar page, you will get to see the link. You will get to see the stock of and the name. So looking forward to seeing all of you all coming for tomorrow's webinars. And I will pick up more questions tomorrow for the 7